Hi, I'm Toby, the Galactic Intuitive. Welcome. Thank you for joining me as we explore the cosmic wisdom of our galactic guides and families. I offer these readings as a conduit for their teachings, their frequencies, and to amplify their direct communication and relationship with you. Today we are exploring a theme, a strand of information that's been coming through for me for the last couple of weeks, but it's been growing stronger and stronger over this past week. And this is the energy of divine union. This is the sigil that I channeled from this energy. It was channeled on the 25th. So as you can see, I have been working on this for a few days. I started making mental notes on it early last week. Then the sigil wanted to come through on the 25th. And I have cards out here already, so bear with me. I have made some notes in my journal as well on these themes and started noting them yesterday. And actually I pulled the cards first. I had an idea of the themes, but I hadn't written them down in the journal, and then I pulled the cards and they brought all of the different strands that were kind of had been dropping down into my awareness, brought it all together. And so then I started making notes based on that and based on the downloads I was already getting. And initially, the idea, this concept, this energy around divine union was one of physical union with another being, coming into partnership with another being, whether that be in romantic partnership or some sort of soul partnership, but one that is in the physical plane as well as the spiritual plane, one that is tangible and that is based in connection and interaction in your tangible reality. In addition to that, I was also receiving information around, of course, it being also in relationship to union with self, and the phrase "I am that I am" continued to come through for me and felt related to this reading. It's related to another message that I have written and I will share at some point, but it was related to this reading as well. And as often happens for me in my journey in channeling and connecting in with the Galactics and my guides, and working with energy, it's interesting because I get these strands of information and they oftentimes feel kind of disjointed, but then they end up, I can see at some point down the line in their not their evolution, but in their integration and their interweaving, that they are connected. And I think that definitely speaks back to the I am that I am. We all have a multitude of aspects to ourselves, and it is not one aspect which we need to define ourselves by to allow ourselves to be the fullness of who we are. And that speaks with this divine union, right? The union within ourselves of all of those aspects. It can also be, of course, the union of divine masculine and feminine, the union of quantum and physical, the union of energetic and tangible. There is a certain magnetism that comes with this now unified being. There is a magnetism that occurs through the balance of energies within a being who has reached this level of beingness and level of consciousness. And interestingly, so this does align with New Earth, right? I think this definitely came through in the last reading as well, that we must reach a level of balance and integration in order to maintain our experience of New Earth. Through the integration process, we may have moments of experience, and moments don't necessarily mean that they're fleeting, but moments or packets of space-time, as the Polarians and my guides like to say, packets of space-time in which we are in the 5D, and those are those packets of time in which we're in that place of balance, we're in that place of integration, of the light and the shadow, the divine feminine, divine masculine, of the quantum and the tangible. And it's the expansion of this frequency, and this was one of the channeled messages. So aligning with New Earth, expansion of this frequency through tones, expression, creation within the unification and because of the unification. So from that place of balance and unification, of divine union, there is a sense of the tone of creation springing forth from that place of balance. It is a frequency that is, I want to say, unique. It's not necessarily unique to any particular individual or any particular pairing, but it is a unique frequency that occurs when that unification happens and is present. I want to say is present, not when it happens. It isn't like a one and done thing. Like when when you've it's not a pinnacle type thing. It is a, it is a bit of a marker of that unification being present. But I can't get the words to describe this. It's not something that's short-lived. And although we've already talked about how there are packets of space-time when throughout the unification process you may be moving in and out of it, you'll notice that particular tone, and you may start gaining awareness of this tone, a particular frequency that you may hear with your physical ears, and you may hear it with clairaudience. You may sense it with your physical body. They're reminding me of the very low frequency, and I don't mean low as in a hierarchical way, but an actual lower tone frequency that elephants emit as they're calling to each other, as they're traveling, and for different types of communication. It is so low that the human ear doesn't pick up the actual sound, the tone of it, but we can feel it in our bodies. It travels through the earth. And this is the same type of frequency. It's a frequency that some of you, they are saying, some of you may be able to hear it with your physical ears. That is part of the ascension process too, is being able to hear these things. However, there will be many of you who feel it before you're able to hear it with your physical ears. And that's not to say that you won't ever be able to hear it, but you'll be able to feel it before you hear it. So paying attention to that sensation, and that this unified self, this is the God self, this is the embodiment of divinity. And that is not to say that we don't embody divinity at other points in time, but to be aligned with our divine self is to be in alignment with that place of balance and neutrality and unification. Okay, so the rest of these are very much tied to the messages from the cards as well. So we will continue with those. Pardon the creaky chair. Interestingly, the first card that came out was, and I don't normally pull cards before I'm on camera. I was called to do that, and they said pull 7 cards. And so I did. This is the Starseed Oracle from, is it Rebecca Campbell? Yeah, Rebecca Campbell. So the first card that came out, karmic relationships. Let's see if I can get that right. Very interesting place to start since we're talking about divine union. This is Orion energy. It is about polarity, soul growth, and conflict. And notice the separation between the two. And then we have the cosmic heart, devotion, potency, making your life a moving prayer. And then we have loosen your grip, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, let God in. There's a big sense of surrender there. Big sense of surrender, loosening your grip, releasing that control. And then more surrendering, waiting. It is not time yet. And I'm going to bring this all together in a second, but I want to show them to you individually first. It is not time. It is not yet time. Things are being woven. Trusting in the divine orchestration and the divine timing of the process. Trusting in the process itself. The golden children, inner child, tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. Is that rare? Yeah, rare gifts. Then we have called, soul gifts and training. It is time to step up. And then the last card, y'all are going to love this if you haven't already noticed it. A new earth. It is happening. Keep holding the vision. So, interestingly, I mean, all of these feel like 7 stages of unification of self is what it feels like to me. Well, 6 stages, and then we reach new earth, which is this place of balance. This for you that are here, I feel like most of you that are here are within these last 3 stages at some point, maybe already here in 4 as well. Again, packets of space-time and when you might be moving back and forth. And healing is not linear, and neither is ascension. so it's not a straight up type of thing. It is the spiral. It is the it is the winding path of exploration of our consciousness and our expanding awareness and of ourselves ultimately. Yeah, as I was speaking with a friend earlier, and I said, you know, sometimes, or that if we weren't triggered, we wouldn't be able to exhibit or choose, and then let me see if I can talk. If we weren't ever triggered in the healing process, then we wouldn't be given the opportunity to choose a new response, to exhibit a new behavior, to have, and to not even to have, but to embody that new perspective that we've been working towards through healing and understanding ourselves. So It's not a step backwards. It's just another step. So in this process, it's super important for us to recognize, look at how far you've come. First of all, look at how far you've come. Look at the patience, the release of the need for control, the understanding of these karmic relationships, and understanding and appreciating what they have given you, what you've given the other person, but what they have given you. Releasing them with love, forgiveness for them and yourself. It's through the polarity, it's through the contrast that we learn, that we grow. It's not through comfort and sameness that we change. It's through conflict, it's through discomfort, it's through I'm getting the sense of shaky ground where we make changes. Oftentimes we'll hold firm onto something that we know, no matter how unhealthy it is. And it's those karmic I'll keep wanting to say karmic contracts, there's that, but karmic relationships that really highlight that for us, allow us to see the contrast, to feel the contrast in our bodies, to really get to a point of saying, it's interesting because oftentimes we don't even recognize its contrast until we get to a very low point, till we get to the point of I can't take it anymore. And when that happens, then we start seeking the alternative, which is the opposite. Oftentimes all we know is I can't do this anymore. I'm terribly uncomfortable. This is no longer good for me. And I can't do it anymore. Whatever the it is. And then so we start seeking the alternative. We start seeking the opposite. And then we come to find through that process that what the contrast is. Oftentimes, I keep saying that, oftentimes, we don't know what it is we want until we can clearly define what we don't want. Somebody else has said that, and I don't know who it is, but it's very well put. We cannot define clearly what we want until we know definitively what we don't want. That there's such an important part here. And by doing that and getting to that point, this allows us to get into the devotion of self, this cosmic heart, making your life a moving prayer, the devotion to the divinity within you. And understanding that and acknowledging the divinity within oneself, especially after this type of process, it takes time. But it's one step forward, one step forward, one step forward. And it doesn't matter if you may be taking steps to the side, you're still moving forward because you're learning along the way. You're continuing to open your heart a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. You're learning to trust yourself, allowing yourself to loosen your grip, to let go of the coping mechanisms, to let go of the addictions, whatever form they take, to let God in, to let the divine in, to let the love of source in, to allow the source love that's within you to be expressed, to tap into that, to allow that to be what you rely upon in those times where you feel like you're falling and you don't know where you're going to land. And then allowing for the seeds you've planted during this time the seeds of unification, the seeds of self-love, the seeds of an open heart, the seeds of self-trust, the seeds of connecting deeply into one's consciousness, connecting deeply into your intuition, your own inner knowing, connecting with your guides, with your ancestors, with the angels, with the Galactics, whomever your guides may be, with your spirit team, with nature, with animal and plant medicines and guides, and allowing yourself to go with the flow of source, allowing yourself to be directed, allowing your joy and your intuition to guide you, letting those be the markers and the flags upon your path, and allowing things to unfold that way. And then we have the golden children, and this is that point of creation too. It is the inner child. It is nurturing your inner child. It is giving yourself, it's the reparenting of oneself. And it's the tapping back into that sense of innocence and intuition and joy and curiosity and awe and wonder at this life that we are gifted. And when we do that, the gifts that are living within you begin to be revealed, or the ones you're already in touch with expand, and new ones may unfold and come into your awareness. You're allowing yourself to explore and be on this adventure of life as you would have as a child, with innocence, with tenderness, with fun and play. And it's through that your calling is revealed as well, because now you're following your joy. You're following what lights up your heart. And that's where you begin to see these doorways opening. Look at how we have these two doorways here. A doorway, a gateway. Interesting. In a rebirth meditation I did on Sunday, the doorway was very, very, very prominent. It was a very integral part of, was very profound part of that meditation. Okay, I'll finish. I had to redo the sound on it because there was too much background noise, but I'll keep working on that and get that out for you guys. There is something so profound about this doorway and stepping through this doorway. In the meditation, I'll just share with you, in the meditation, it was about leaving, a couple of, let me back up, a couple of readings back, we talked about the crucible of transformation, and in it they referenced the 222 meditation that I shared about writing a new story for yourself, and one that is without the trauma and the wounding and the ancestral wounds and the generational trauma, because you've healed those things. And now we're writing new stories about who you are and potentially what you want and what your priorities are now as this conscious and open, connected, balanced being. And so the meditation on Sunday, it's about a week old. Anyway, the meditation was about leaving those books behind. The books that contained the stories of your past trauma, whether it was from this lifetime or others. The stories that contained, or the book that contained the stories of others' expectations, others' definitions, others' labels of you. The book that contained the stories of restriction and limitation and disconnection and separation. And it was about setting those books down and walking away from them. And that's what allowed you to move through the doorway into New Earth. And that's, again, as I said to begin with, all these things are interconnected, just as all of these aspects of us as individuals are interconnected. So allowing yourself to put down that book. And I think that's part of why we're bringing this up here today as well, because we are at this point of divine union, unification of all these aspects of self. But this unified version of you gets to write a new story. You are no longer defined. What was the word I was going to say? Divined? That's not a word. Oh, well. Hang on just a second. Because I'm not seeing it. When I say divined, I'm thinking of actual vines. So I'm getting a visual of someone who is wrapped up in all these vines and can't move. Like they're trapped in vines. So all of those things that were restrictive, constrictive, suppressive, the labels, the stories, the expectations, the victimhood mentality, the past traumas and wounds, the past behaviors, the addictions, the things that kept you locked into a karmic cycle. Allowing yourself to close that book. And as I was starting to say, that's why we're talking about these, what you've experienced already, because it's important to celebrate that. We're not setting it aside with any sort of negative attitude about it, or any sort of I'm getting a sense of judgment or disapproval. It's not that at all. It's to set it down with honor and gratitude and love. Because without those books, you wouldn't be the new you. So allowing yourself to celebrate that it's time to put it down, to celebrate that you have the opportunity, you have created the opportunity for you to write a new story. It's important to recognize the steps that you've gone through, the paths you've taken, the difficulty, the obstacles you've traversed, the challenges you've faced, and that you've overcome, that you've persevered. Your resilience, your determination, your courage to continue on. And so honoring that by setting those books down with love, with gratitude, and then open heart. And allowing yourself to move through the doorway to New Earth, lighter, unburdened, freer, unrestricted, and with curiosity about, and playfulness, I'm hearing, about the adventure to come and what you can write from this point. And as we're talking about divine union, I'm getting a message that this may have to do with partnership. We started by talking about partnership, and then we moved to partnership with self, unification of the self, and truly the unification within the self is such a big part of connecting in with a divine partner. And what you may find through this process that's outlined here is that a particular relationship has taken these steps. A particular relationship that may have started out in highlighting conflict and contrast to you. One that may have set you upon this path of healing, and you've gone through these steps in associated with this relationship. You may have gone through them on your own. You may have had to separate from this other person, and you've gone through these steps as an individual, through these stages as an individual. And this doorway is symbolic of stepping into a new phase with this relationship. I'm getting a very big nod to that it's could very well be that not only have you traveled on this path, but your divine partner has traveled on this path as well. And so if you find yourself reconnecting with someone, yes, it's important to listen to your intuition, and it's important to maintain what is healthy for you and understanding what is healthy for you. It's also important as we go through this process of healing to allow others to transform as well. To allow others to show you if they've changed. And that's not ever to say to go back into something that is unhealthy. Ultimately, that is your choice. But it's so important that for us to recognize that if we have an expectation that someone else has not changed, what is that a reflection of within us? There's something else that needs to be looked at more deeply if we are still holding on to that certainty that someone else cannot change just as we have. So I get a very strong indication here that this has to do with a reunion of a divine partnership as well. Y'all know I don't talk about that kind of thing on in my readings too terribly much, but it is very, very strongly coming through. Part of the reason why I haven't sat down to do this reading just yet is because I wanted to because that topic doesn't come up too much. I wanted to make sure that I was understanding the message and the information I was receiving to be able to relay it to you. Now, if you find yourself already within your divine partnership, because I hear some of you saying, but I'm already in partnership. This very well may have to do with the partnership, the divine union within self. It also may be an elevation in a next stage. You don't necessarily have to be in separation with your divine partner for this to resonate or this to apply, because certainly you can go through these stages together. But it is so important to recognize that if you find yourself, if that is your situation, if you're already in this partnership, allowing space for your partner to travel their own journey within themselves of these steps and stages is so important, because each person's journey is unique. And although you may be walking side by side, you're still walking your own path. And that has to be terribly difficult. Because we all know how challenging this path can be. And so there is an understanding that there will be times when you watch your partner struggle. And certainly you can be supportive and understanding and offer them so much unconditional love. And at the same time, you cannot interfere. That it's not in your best interest, it's not in their best interest, and it's certainly not in the best interest of your partnership for you to interfere with their process, because each person has their own process. So that may be something that is unfolding here too, that you're recognizing that you're both going to be moving through this doorway, and you might not move through it at the same time either. Again, that's part of the non-interference. So I think, okay, I think we are, let me pull one card. We're going to do one from the Life Soul Vision Oracle, and we're just going to look at, hello, Mr. Owl. I'm going to look at one last piece of, I'm feeling like this will serve as some sort of confirmation for you, and that's what I'm getting. It's not necessarily advice, it's not necessarily guidance, but it will serve as some sort of confirmation for you. Wow, look at that. Eclipse Revelations, Destiny Speaks. Card number 17. There's a red shoulder hawk on here, and a sailboat, and the eclipse. Well, I mean, we can't get something more in line with the message as far as destiny goes. It's so interesting because I get this sense of the hawk and the sailboat being symbolic of the two parts within this divine union, whether it's the aspects of self or it's the two humans in this divine partnership. The air energy and the water energy are so strong. And then we have the fire energy as well. So those three elements are so strongly here. Card number 17 in the tarot is the star card. So I'm getting a strong hit on Aquarian energy as well. There is an eclipse September 21st in Virgo, I think. Would that be right? No. I can't remember if it's a new moon eclipse or it's, oh, I'm not going to remember. So anyway, it's September 21st. Oh wait, that would be, no. September 21st, I think would be, I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I think it would be Virgo. Anyway, it might be Libra. It might be Libra. Anyway, that time frame feels important for this. So Virgo, Libra time frame at the end of Virgo season, beginning of Libra. That might have relevance for someone's birthday, I'm getting as well. There is definitely something about a sailboat and about moving across the waters with ease, allowing the air to move you. And again, this is that loosening your grip, going with the flow, waiting, allowing things to unfold. I was hearing allowing things to unravel so that they can come back together again. But allowing things to unfold in their divine timing, because there is destiny at play here. Very interesting. I'm also getting August energy. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for being here. I so appreciate you. So appreciate you. And wishing you all the best. Please be sure to like the video if it spoke to you. Subscribe to the channel If this resonates with you, I would really appreciate it. It does help to get the information out there and for other people to see the videos. And otherwise, I will be back soon. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you in the next one.